So we'll get started. Good morning. I'm Cantor Lizzie Shammash, and I welcome you. I'm located in Philadelphia, and we're so glad you're here. Let's see, change to, there we go. Today, on this 11th day of Tammuz, we're going to look at Parshat Balak, and it is also the summer solstice, the day of the most sunlight of the whole year. And in fact, I checked, our first light here in Philadelphia was 5 a.m. Our last light is 9:07 tonight. So that's 16 hours and 7 minutes of sunlight. That's a lot of sun, a lot of solar power. And it being the summer solstice, I want to also make the connection with your solar power and energy and say that we've been in this Zoom yoga space now for just a little more than a year. And I want to celebrate you for your energy, your output, your desire to be here, your kavanah. I know that there's at least one person who's been here every single class this year, and that's Cantor Deborah Stamen, and I want to give her a shout out. And I think there are a handful of others of you. So please put that in the chat if you've been here every class or close to. I know there are so many of you who have really powered the energies, the result of this room. You know, we're not physically together, but we have felt so with each other and supportive of each other and emotionally together. So I want to give you, all of us, so much praise as a community. And that said, tonight is our IJS Evening of Gratitude, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. And so we really hope you can join us to celebrate, to see the impact we've been making, to be in community with our like-minded fellow seekers. So please join us if you can. And Adi will graciously put that link into the chat as well if you have not received it by email. So today's practice, let's get started. We're going to actually spend the entire time supine on the back, and I'll say a little more about that soon. But let us begin. So lying on the back with the knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor. You can even take the soles of the feet as wide as the mat, so the edges of the feet are wide. That can be really nice, and let the knees draw in toward each other. That's an option. You might want a little bit of blanket or cushioning. You could draw the mat, fold the mat over for your head. Just feel where the skull wants to be. And take the hands and place them so that the palms, the heels of the hands, the heels of the palms are on top of the bony hip points. So you can feel right and left. And that the fingers extend across the low belly, and possibly the fingertips might meet in the middle. You might notice right away is your habit to lie down and right away close your eyes, or to keep them open. And just notice if the habit that you have is what you actually would like. Would you like to have your eyes open or closed? If the mind is racing, it can be nice to close the eyes to start to draw internally. If you're already feeling a little bit sluggish, you may want to keep the eyes open and soft but alert. And begin to let the bones just fall to the floor, be supported by the earth, be held. And feel the breath rising and falling in the belly, in the chest. And with each exhale, with each falling of the belly and the chest, see if you can let the body feel a little heavier, a little more released to the floor. And do a bit of a body scan. Notice any parts of the body that might be gripping unnecessarily, that you could just let go, 5% perhaps. Maybe it's the usual suspects like the base of the skull, and the jaw, the shoulders. Let the rib cage settle, the low back. Let the feet be heavy, making a nice imprint into the floor. So we're going to start with a little bit of pelvic tilt. As you inhale, let the belly fill with breath. And as you exhale, draw the navel towards the floor, like glue it to the floor, and allow the tailbone to rise up, moving maybe towards where the wall meets the ceiling, letting the low back make quite an imprint to the floor. And then as you inhale, coming back to a neutral spine, not an arch, but a neutral spine. And we go again, exhaling, draw the low belly in, glue the navel, the low back to the floor, let the tailbone rise. Feel the length in the low back, the sacrum and the lumbar. And as you inhale, coming back to neutral. It's a very small movement. Once again, exhaling. Let the pelvis rock a little bit. Feel that length in the low back and that scooping out of the low belly. And then come back to center. And once again, inhale, fill the belly. And as you exhale, curl, let the tailbone curl up. Feel that surface area increase on the low back. And this time as we inhale, moving through neutral spine into a little bit of an arch so the tailbone tips down towards the floor and the low back starts to come off the floor. So moving back and forth like this as you exhale, curling the tail, letting the surface area of the low back really increase, soften, and inhale. Letting the pelvis arch, tilt the tailbone down. So follow that in your own breath. Exhaling as you curl and inhaling as you arch. Let the rib cage be neutral. Let the shoulders be easy. The movement is small. It's only occurring in the pelvis. And then coming back to neutral and just notice the spine. Once again, let the bones just drop into the floor with the exhale. Extend the right leg long on the floor and then extend the left leg long on the floor as well. And flex the feet as if you were standing the feet on the floor. And keep the hands on the front hip points and simply notice, is the right side higher than the left or the left side higher than the right? So notice how they feel. You could even take a look at them to see if what you feel matches what you see. Mountain pose. Then extend the arms by the sides, fingertips long, extending towards the outer feet. Let the outer shoulders drop, let the shoulder blades drop, and just notice, what is it like to take mountain pose in this supine position? Allowing the breath to come and go. Let the gaze be soft. Feel that support of the back body. Inhale and lift the arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing each other. Spread the fingers, and as you inhale, lift the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Lift the outer shoulders and shoulder blades off the floor. And then as you exhale, draw the shoulder blades down and onto the back. Let the outer shoulders come to the floor. Widen across the collarbones. Inhale and let the fingertips lead the arms coming up towards the ceiling from the center, from the space between the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, drop the shoulder blades as you widen them. Let the whole shoulder settle to the floor. And one more time like this, inhaling, widen the shoulder blades, spread those fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, really consciously widen a little more as you draw down. And now as we inhale, we're going to take the arms overhead with the palms facing up towards the ceiling, and see what the limitations are in your shoulders. This option might not be for you. You may want to take the arms out wide, a little wider. Extend the fingertips towards opposite corners of the room, or bend the elbows, or you might want to practice one arm at a time, working on straightening the arms away from you with the palms facing towards the ceiling. So many options here for this extended overhead mountain pose. So be where you are for this pose and for everything that we do today. It's really the lesson of awareness and listening. Extend through those fingertips, continue to extend through the heels and also through the balls of the feet. Make the middle body, the torso, the whole abdomen long. And now from here, we're going to do kind of a wiggle worm stretch. Stretch the right toes as you point them away from you, and also the right fingertips as you take a little C curve with the body, and notice how the right ribs open. And then switch left toes, left fingertips, soften the right side of the body as you extend the left, and then switch again. And inhale, and then switch again on the exhale, opening up that left side of the body. And once again to each side, inhale, exhale, send right toes and right fingertips away. Inhale, send left toes and left fingertips away. And then just coming back to center, softening, dropping. So you might want to stay here with the arms and legs extended but soft through this time, or you might be more comfortable bending the knees and placing the soles of the feet on the floor, constructive rest. I'm just going to do a little teaching, and I encourage you to stay here, resting in your breath and resting in this wonderful help of gravity, reminding you to take the back body and let it rest to the floor. While I share a couple words from Parshat Balak. So it's an interesting portion. We have Balak, the king of the region of Moab, and he hires Bilam, this pagan prophet, to curse the Israelites. And he says to him in this Torah portion, there is a people that came out of Egypt. It hides the earth from view, and it is settled next to me. Come then, put a curse upon this people for me, since they're too numerous for me. Perhaps I can thus defeat them and drive them out of the land. For I know that he whom you bless is blessed indeed, and he whom you curse is cursed. So God says to Bilam, don't do that. Don't go with them. You must not curse that people, for that they are blessed. That people is a blessed people. And eventually God does allow Bilam to go, but he tells him, you have to do as I command. And later in the story, ultimately, Bilam is taken up to 3 different mountaintops, and 3 times Bilam is supposed to curse the Israelites, but instead what comes out of his mouth is blessing. He blesses them. And one of those moments he says, the verse we know so much that we start the morning with, Matovu Ohalecha Yaakov, how beautiful are your tents, people of Jacob. So I want to back up though, and there's this scene where Bilam loads up his donkey to go on this journey. And as they get onto the road, the donkey sees in his path an angel carrying a sword. An angel of God, an angel of death carrying a sword, and Bilam cannot see this angel. So the donkey swerves out of the way of the angel. He's scared. And 3 times, again, this number 3, so important, so pervasive in our tradition, 3 times Bilam beats the donkey because he doesn't understand what's going on. And so then God opens up the mouth of the donkey. This is verse 28 here. And she said, she, the donkey, says to Bilam, what have I done to you that you've struck me these 3 times? Bilam said to the donkey, for you've humiliated me. You've humiliated me. If I had a sword in my hand, I would kill you right now. And the donkey says to Bilam, am I not your donkey on which you have ridden since you first started until now? Have I been accustomed to do this to you? You know, I've done nothing to you. Why are you hurting me? And Bilam said, no. So Yud He Vav He, the Eternal One, opened Bilam's eyes, and he saw the angel of God standing in the road with a sword drawn in his hand. And what does he do? Bilam bows and prostrates himself on his face. So I love this, this reading of this from Yael Shai, and this is from IJS Torah study about 6 years ago, and I keep returning to her work because it's so good. So Yael Shai tells us that the donkey in the story, she sounds a lot like what our bodies and our inner selves might sound like if God allowed them to talk. The body might say, why are you abusing me? Why don't you trust me? What have I ever done to you? Why can't you believe I have wisdom that your thinking mind can't comprehend? And she says that Bilam's rage, his misplaced upset at his donkey also sounds familiar. He can't understand why the donkey's betraying his wishes. He says that he's humiliated by the donkey's actions and feeling ashamed for the parts of himself that he can't control. So he beats down on his donkey harder and harder, externalizing his frustration and crippling his means of transportation and support in the process. And Yael goes on to point out an interpretation from the Baal Shem Tov, a little bit of a word play. The word for donkey is chamor, chamor. Chet mem vav resh. And if we change the positioning of the vav and the mem, we get the word chomer, which means matter, physical substance, or material, right? The chomer, the material that this body is made of. And so she says that Bilam's deepest chomer tries to show him the way out of danger, but he doesn't listen. And she quotes Rabbi Simon Jacobson, who says, often when our bodies, the chomer, speak to us, beckoning us to act, we might ignore the voice, or worse, we may beat the body as Bilam beats his donkey because it's becoming a nuisance and distracting us from our misguided plans. So there's an invitation in this parasha to move away from a brutal relationship or a adversarial relationship that we often have with our bodies, with our breath, any overwork or overeating or over criticism or undernourishing ourselves that we might do. We could listen in and we could make teshuvah for this kind of harm, right? We can apologize to the donkey, which we can apologize to the chomer of ourselves, our physical matter. And we can begin to listen to the wisdom within. And that's what we do in our yoga practice, right? We come to listen to the quiet voice, the courageous voice, the voice within the body that leads us away from danger and towards freedom and towards life. So let us make some peace today with our chamorim, the donkeys of our bodies that carry us, and the chomer of our bodies, the matter of our bodies. So that's what sparked my idea to spend this practice on the floor today, really receiving love from this body as we kind of let go. So we're going to do a sequence of body awareness exercises into some poses to let us notice when I do this action, what happens, and help us to make some choices about how we can best take this body on the journey of living. So here we are on our backs. We're going to just begin with a little bit of knees side to side in this fashion. So if your legs have been outstretched long, bring the soles of the feet to the floor and the knees up to the ceiling. We're going to take an inhale here. And as we exhale, leaving the feet where they are, just allowing the knees to rock over to the right side, just a few inches, maybe a little more. And inhale back through center. And then exhale, let the knees come over towards the left. So we inhale through center. And we exhale as we go to the side. You can have your arms wherever you like them. Keep this going in your own breath so that the feet do not move, right? We just rock over to inner and outer blades of the feet as the knees come side to side. And as little effort as possible, just noticing weight across the back body, across the low back as the knees shift side to side. Great, and then come back to center and pause. And taking a special notice of the low back. Just feel how that's doing right now. Now we're going to add the head. So we're going to inhale here at center. And then as you exhale, let the knees drop to the right and also take the gaze over the right shoulder. So inhale, center. Then exhale, the knees slowly to the left, the gaze coming over the left shoulder. So going pretty slowly and taking this in your own breath, inhaling center. And then as you exhale, head, knees, let the eyes lead it, going to the side. Notice the effect on your spine, on your torso. Notice the weight shift across the back body. And then come back to center, pause. And we're going to take hold of opposite elbows so that the forearms are just out towards the ceiling in front of your chest height. Let it be easy. We can take an inhale here. And as we exhale, take the elbows and the knees and the gaze over to the right. And inhale through center. And then exhale, eyes, elbows, knees, left. So we're inhaling center, and as we exhale, everything goes to the same side. Notice how adding the elbows changes. What do you feel across the shoulder blades, the rib cage, the torso? Notice if your mind is getting impatient. That's fine. Just notice. Make a request of the body, of the mind to just slow it down a little bit so we can clearly notice, and then come back to center, pause, take the arms out to the side, shoulder height. And this time we're going to take knees and head in the opposite direction. So we're going to inhale here. And as you exhale, take the knees over to the right while you take the head over to the left. And then inhale, both back up through center. Let the eyes lead you. And as you exhale, knees to the left and gaze to the right. Keep this going in your own breath, inhaling center. And as you exhale, knees and head opposite direction. And again, the movement can be very subtle, barely perceptible, or it can be a little bit larger. And the point is not the range of motion, but the coordination of movement and the noticing. So what do you notice about this twist of the spine as we take knees and head in opposite direction, kind of like wringing out a washcloth? As the vertebrae lengthen and twist. And then come back to the center and pause here. And again, notice the surface area of your back body. What do you feel across the low back, the torso, the upper back? Now we're going to draw the knees in towards the chest. And hug them in toward you, arms out to the sides. So use the abdominal muscles to draw the knees in as much as you can. Inhale here. And as you exhale, we're going to take the knees a little bit over to the right. And we're going to inhale back through center. So this is a core exercise to start to warm up the middle of the body. Exhale, take the knees over towards the left. And inhale back through center. So stabilizing the torso as we move the knees, the hips, side to side. Let it come from the abdominal muscles, right? So the whole action is coming from a stable center. We inhale center and we exhale to the side. Try to keep the knees together. And again, it doesn't matter how far the knees go. We're just trying to turn on those external obliques and awaken the abdomen. Again, notice how this affects the spine. And then come back to center. And then finally, we're going to take it into a twist to the side. So inhale here at center. And as you exhale, take the knees over to the right. And you may want to place a block between the knees, especially if the left hip and buttock are tight. So placing something between the knees, lifting, raising that left knee helps you ground that left shoulder blade. We want to keep that left shoulder and left shoulder blade grounded as we work this twist. The gaze can be up towards the ceiling, or it can be over your left shoulder. Or actually, you can continue that action of going back and forth with the head, inhaling center and exhaling, shifting over towards the left. So the floor provides us a way to be in our yoga practice in a deeply supported way, right? Going with that donkey theme, and treating the body as a pack animal, just taking it for granted, loading it up, whether it's groceries or, working a little too hard in the garden, paying for that in your low back or something, right? We can do some repair. We can do some teshuva with the body by finding these gentle movements, kind of deconstructing them a little bit. Letting the body settle, just really deeply be in this twist. Notice how it develops over time. You might let some sound escape on that exhale, a sigh, or a little bit of a moan or a hum. Vocalizing on the exhale helps us to release tension. And then as you're ready, releasing, take your time. The longer we stay in a pose, we want to come up nice and slowly. Come back to center. And take an inhale here at center. And then exhale the knees over to the left. And once again, you can place that block between the knees if you like. It's an option. Keep that right shoulder blade grounded. And once you find that nice twist through the center of the body, really giving some aliveness, awareness to the whole abdominal region. You might start to work the head, maybe over the right shoulder or back and forth between center and right. And you might ask yourself, what is my natural tendency with my body? Is it as Balak would have to curse my body? That I don't look a certain way, or I can't do something that I want to do, or, these many ways in which we betray our bodies, curse our bodies. Or is your natural tendency to bless, to be grateful for your eyes, for your ears, for your heartbeat? For the fact that you can move and lift and twist and bend, regardless of what size clothing you require. Right? So is the natural tendency towards curse or towards blessing? And how might you like it to be? And then as you're ready, beginning to release and come back to center. And take your strap. We're going to take the strap around the heel of the right foot, around the heel. Begin to extend that right leg up towards the ceiling on an exhale. So as you inhale, bend the knee, draw it towards you, pull the strap towards you. And as you exhale, extend the heel away. Again, bending, inhaling, exhale, straighten. And you can have the left knee bent with the sole of the foot on the floor, or you can extend the left leg long. And continuing to work, inhaling and bending and exhaling. Moving towards straightening the leg. Just letting there be a little bit of subtle movement in this stretch. And then extend the leg. So you always want to keep some kind of micro bend in that knee. Now we're going to go back and forth a little bit. So as you inhale, allow the strap, the leg to move away from the body towards the opposite wall. And as you exhale, draw the leg back towards you, draw the strap toward you. Inhale, let the leg move away. Exhale, bring it toward you. And one more time like that. Inhaling, let the leg move away. Exhale, move it toward you. And now really energize through that left leg. If it's long, pretend that you're standing on the floor. You feel that sense of the heel moving away, flex the foot, and also send the big toe ball mound towards the opposite wall, so away from you, and energize particularly through that inner line of the foot, through the inner line of the leg, from the groin to the inner heel, right? Because the left leg will have a tendency to roll out. You want to keep it in parallel. And I forgot to say, take the block. So grab your block, and on its lowest level, wedge it right into the side of the right hip, right? So it's going to support us as we take the leg out to the right. So block right next to you along the right side. Take both sides of the strap into the right hand, and then begin to draw the right leg out to the right. Extend through the heel. And once again, left leg can be bent or it can be long. But this block there helps support the hip joint. Send that right heel away. Let the breath be long, slow, and smooth. And again, feel the support of the floor to the back body. And as you're ready, inhale, bring the leg back up through center and release the strap. Give a little pointing, flexing, circles with the ankle, shake out the leg. And we'll take the other side. So take that block right over to the left and just wedge it there next to the left hip, next to the greater trochanter. Take the strap around the left heel. We're going to inhale, bend the left knee. Exhale, send the left heel up towards the ceiling. Inhale, bend. And exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. And then inhale, let the straight leg move away from the body. And exhale, draw the leg toward you. Inhale, let it move away. Exhale, draw toward you. Again, like that. And as you exhale, draw the leg toward you, as if you can stand that leg on the ceiling. And the right leg is either knee bent or the leg long. If the leg is long, really feel that, that extension from the center of the body out towards the heel, towards the ball of the foot. Again, that you might be standing your foot on a baseboard, right? So you have like a sense that you're pressing away out against something. Feel into sensation. Back body being held. Hamstrings being stretched. And then take both sides of the strap into the left hand. And take that left leg out to the left. And let the outer hip rest on the block. Feel the support of the block. And then inhale the left leg back up through center. And place the block and the strap to the side. We're going to take the right leg and cross it over the left, figure four. Draw it toward you. So either the hands are clasped behind the left thigh, or you can use the strap behind the left thigh to draw the legs in. See that the back of the neck is long. And then either you'll stay here or you'll take hold of that right foot with the left hand and cradle the right knee with the right arm. Let it rest in the crook of your elbow. Place the left sole of the foot back on the floor and cradle the leg a little bit closer in. Right? Just draw the whole shin toward you. So this is optional. You can stay with the figure four as we were doing and just continue that nice, beautiful stretch. We're just starting to increase some sensation if you'd like that. So cradling that right foot, let it rock a little bit side to side. And then from here, take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, extend that left leg long and let it hover in the air as you curl up and curl the forehead toward the shin. So this is like a pigeon pose, but supine, right? Draw the navel to the spine Let that be the center of the pose, the navel radiating out to the left leg and out through the torso and allowing the crown to curl, upper body to curl. And as you're ready, release wherever you're at. Release, take maybe a couple circles through that right hip. And we switch sides. Cross the left leg over the right. Draw the figure 4 structure in. And maybe even drawing it in is too much. You could leave that right sole of the foot on the floor and just simply rock through that left hip. Let the knee come forward and back. So whatever option your body is calling for here. So then if you're hugging this structure in, you might stay with that, or you might release the right sole of the foot to the floor and begin to hug the left leg in. So cradling the lower leg, just like a baby, letting the left leg rock a little side to side. And then inhale. And as you exhale from the center, from the navel, allow the upper body to curl and extend that right leg long, hovering the leg above the floor. And continue to breathe. And as you're ready, releasing, taking a couple circles, that left knee, the hip open. Release the soles of the feet to the floor. We'll end where we began, which is just letting the knees rock a little bit side to side. One more time. Inhaling through center and exhaling to the side. And then let the knees come to center. You might take Shavasana right here in this constructive rest position. You might take a more traditional Shavasana, allowing the palms to turn up and extending the legs long, letting the legs be as wide as the mat. And just let the ankles roll in and out a couple times, shake out the legs. And allowing the body to settle. However you would like to take the final relaxation. Just allowing for a few minutes of total stillness, gentleness with this body, this chamor, this donkey, this chomer, this stuff, this material. Giving your own body the blessing of rest. Right? This ohel, this tent that is the body. When we say matovu ohalecha Yaakov. Thanking this tent. And begin to deepen the breath as you allow your awareness to come back to the surface. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. You might take a yawn, stretch, extending and opening the body. Feel that support of the floor, of the earth. Registering a reminder maybe to take that with you through your day and through your week. The neurological imprint that this makes on the body. And as you're ready, rolling over onto your side. Slowly making your way up to a comfortable seat. And if you'd like, taking a hand to the heart and a hand to the belly, it's kind of a form of a hug. Feel the movement and wave of your breath coming and going. Take a moment to give yourself a blessing. What would you like to bless your body or yourself with today, this week? Might be a word or a phrase. Breathe it in, drink it in. Bless yourself. And as you're ready, you can exhale and release your hands back to your thighs. And we close by hearing the sound of the bell and letting that again imprint that blessing into your mind, into your heart as we close our practice today. So again, thanks for practicing. Thank you for the solar energy required, the sun energy to come to the mat.